Hey, what's up? It's Phoenix and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I encourage you to hit that like button, to subscribe for more quality content, and share with your friends. I also encourage you to check out my books on my author page. I'll put the link in the description, and I encourage you to check out the playlist tab for more videos. Today, I'm going to talk about my new book, Rogue, and this is the cover, as you can see. And I'm very excited about this book and the fact that it has been published along with my other book of poetry, Separation Healing, which I have also talked about on this channel, and even read some poetry from that book. While today, I plan on talking about Rogue. So, you might be wondering what kind of book Rogue is, and this is a valid question. I'm going to start by reading the description in the back of the book. This poetry collection is hidden energy within a damaged psyche, exploring the human conditions of a bigger picture we've yet to see. The weight on these words is an expression, displaying the darker truths, mixed emotions, and a radical design of raw spoken prose that forces someone to go rogue. Exploration that grasps the hurt, mediates and explodes into its own definition of going rogue. So that definitely gives you a good idea of this book. I'm going to show you the cover again, just for a little bit of context. You can see that it's a picture of a hood, a guy, a kind of shadow figure in a hood. And I liked that metaphor. In fact, had pitched it to the publisher, Hybrid Sequence Media, and they ran with it. And it was the best idea to express what this book is about. What does it mean to go rogue? You know, at the time of writing this book, I had been thinking a lot about how I myself feel as though I have often not fit in to the mainstream, into respectable social society. And so I've often felt, honestly, as an outlier on the fringe. And people have described me as being an intellectual outsider or someone who thinks outside the box, or even being a person who has gone rogue. And this is true. But it is true for a specific reason, or I should say several reasons. One reason is that I feel as though I am more comfortable on the fringe, being outside of the system, where I can critique the system, as well as thinking about how there have been situations in my life where I have not always fit in, and I've had to develop my own identity and my own system of thought, my own philosophy, my own poetry and aesthetic, and I've had to do that. And so going rogue is about empowering yourself. It's not just the dark aspect and element of rejection and being rejected. It is also about being able to find your voice. And so with Rogue, that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to capture my aesthetic through poetry and be able to capture the intensity of the things that I've experienced in my life, and being able to capture that through the aesthetic of poetry, the beauty of poetry, the beauty of writing. And that was what I was hoping to capture. I would say that I have succeeded. I remember writing a lot of the poems at various places such as the park or Taco Time, which I like to frequent. And I remember handwriting these poems, or even writing them on my iPad. And it was a very freeing experience because I was capturing the emotion that I felt, the intensity of the emotions that I was feeling on a regular basis for a variety of reasons, and really thinking about how I am an outlier. There are a lot of aspects to my thinking that don't fit into normal society. And the thinking itself is not, I wouldn't describe it as being negative in any way. I'm not like doing this for my own sake, you know, or like for controversy. It was more just kind of realizing that there's a way in which my thinking is not orthodox in a lot of ways, and that doesn't work with the establishment, so to speak. And I'm not seeing this as an us versus them type mentality, though I think sometimes it's easy for me to adopt that kind of intensity when I feel rejected. But a lot of it is just like, I have a different experience due to a variety of things, such as mental illness, and I would describe various experiences that I've had, and different ways in which I think about the world, my sexual orientation, and just a variety of things that don't always fit into the norm, and that don't fit in comfortably with the puzzle and with the groove. And so that's why I'm very proud of this book. As I said, I pitched the idea of the man with the hood because I've always been fascinated by kind of darker characters, or I should say mysterious characters. They're not characters that are necessarily evil or bad, and I would hope not, but characters that still represent a kind of darkness and mystery. And that is what Rogue is about, is all about. It is about that mystery. It is about the unexpected nature of understanding ourselves and of humans and of outliers. And so I really, really wanted to capture that. I would describe the aesthetic that I use for my poems, without describing too much of it. I would describe it as being very radical. That is the word that I used. This book is being described as a foray into the radical, and that was my phrase. And the whole point of that was to capture not the experimental aesthetic, which I think is a very specific thing, which I think that I'm influenced by, but is not the only way in which I look at writing. In fact, ironically speaking about going rogue in things, there is a way in which I think we can't truly understand our own radical roots unless we have understood some degree of tradition and what we are reacting against. And I'm not saying that tradition is this like all-important thing that we have to understand to be able to write anything useful, but there's a way in which I am always responding with the world around me, and that includes understanding the ideologies that underpin our culture and our literature and our writing and our aesthetic. And so by understanding that, I was able to rebel in my own way, to go rogue from that tradition. And that tradition just doesn't just include, I would describe, classics, which some people might reference, but also differing groups, contemporary groups of writers that I haven't fit in. And that's happened a lot. And so where there are many groups that I haven't fit in. And so I really had to develop even harder my own style to really get off the ground running and be able to develop something that is really, really meaningful to me and that captures my aesthetic in the rawest, most purest way possible. And so that's definitely something that's important to me in my writing and being able to capture these elements. I think that it's very important to be able to use your own voice, to use your own words, use your words, use the elements of language that make the most sense to you, and definitely dive right in. And so the Man in the Hood idea is representing that kind of darkness and mystery and being able to create your own style and not being afraid to not express yourself in every context, but only in the contexts that have the most meaning for you, such as writing. It's not as if I feel as though I have to express myself to a variety of people, but I am very intense as a person, and so I always look for that outlet, and the outlet for me is writing and poetry. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this talk. I encourage you to check out the book. As I said at the beginning of this video, you can find this book on my author page, which the link is in the description. By buying this book, you are encouraging independent and I would describe radical writers and poets to be able to express themselves and to be able to write something that hasn't been done before. And that's something that I'm very excited to do. And so yeah, so definitely check it out. I will be reading from this book in future episodes on my channel, so keep a lookout. And yeah, again, I'm Phoenix and I appreciate you stopping by. There will be more videos to come. In the meantime, I will see you next time, and thank you for watching.